Hard to believe, but it has been nearly 10 years since LeBron went on national television to declare which team he would be signing with. The infamous decision received its share of criticism after LeBron announced he'd be taking his talents to South Beach to play for the Heat and would be leaving his hometown Cavs. So, Shannon, do you have a problem with the decision and how it all went down?
Nope. Do not have a decision with it, Skip Bayless. When I look at it, Skip, and I get some of the anger for the Cleveland fans, is because, Skip, our hometown guy is leaving us. Left, gone. We're not going to be the same because there's a reason why we're in position to get him, Skip. We weren't very good. So if he leaves, they weren't very good. What, they get 2 first number 1 overall picks after LeBron left, and they've been in position to get several more since he's been gone again. Skip, I think what happened is that when LeBron did what he did, LeBron's like, okay, the decision's going to happen. And what happened was, Skip, from the time LeBron lost to, I think, to Boston, until he made that decision, it was like almost 2 months. Skip, you're old enough to remember Jenny before Jenny don't remember this. But you remember, Skip, Dallas, who shot JR? Now, you remember back then, you had to wait all the way till the fall, and they built that thing up. They kept writing, who shot JR? Was it Sue Ellen? Was it Bobby? Was it this one? They build that suspense. In television, we call that teasing. So LeBron was teasing. Oh, well, who is it, Bron? He didn't do no talking during the season. He didn't let anybody know. Suitors, come see me. Miami, Brooklyn, Knicks, Chicago, and of course, Cleveland. And so everybody was on the edge of the seat. He's like, well, hold on. If ESPN's gonna put this on their air and they're gonna make some money, I should at least get something out of the deal. Maybe I'll raise some money for charity. People don't want to talk about that, but that's what he did. Raise money for a very worthy cause.
Boys and Girls Club.
Yes. Skip, for me, I don't have a problem. Skip, it wasn't like he didn't own a network now. It was like if he was Oprah and Oprah puts it on her own network, that's a different thing. But someone came to him and said, like, do you mind? And LeBron is 25 years of age, and I understand Pete Davis is grown, but LeBron had never been in this situation before because now he's got everybody's watching. But from that moment on, LeBron realized, and it's the thing that we say about power, people don't realize how much power they have. LeBron said, whoa, y'all hanging on every word I say. 10 million live, nobody can do that. Did you know The Last Dance on the average about 5.6?
10 million viewers.
Yeah. And when he made that decision, it peaked, crescendoed, apex.
Still, by far, the most watched studio show in the history of ESPN. That means non-game. Still the highest.
13.1.
Yep.
That was the paradigm shift that gave the athletes the power that we see in the NBA today. And I think what hurt LeBron, look, he understands the fans being upset because he was leaving Cleveland. That hurt him, Skip, because you're burning his jersey and you're calling all out of his name. And then the owner, your value has doubled in your franchise. And this is what you think of me? Had a little racial undertone to it. Well, ain't no undertone. That was overtures. That wasn't no undertone. That was overtures. And so that was the moment that LeBron James realized, man, I got power. I didn't realize. That's the mistake that people make, Skip. They don't realize how much power they have. When they don't think they have any, that's when you give up your power. And LeBron didn't know he had this kind of power. And then once he saw that, it's over. That's why a lot of these execs, a lot of people, I think what hurt LeBron more than anything, it was the former guys that played that was so hard on him. Because we'd never seen this before, Skip. Michael came back with the facts. I'm back. That's all he said. Bird, Magic, never had it. When they re-signed Skip, they never did anything like this. And so the old guard, Skip, they have a way of doing things, and they want you to toe that line. And LeBron says, nah, I'm stepping out of that line. And so for me, Skip, he didn't demand a trade. He played the contract out. He fulfilled his obligation in Cleveland, fulfilled it in Miami, went back to Cleveland, fulfilled it. Now, let the man live his life. Everybody, people leave jobs all the time. Just imagine, Skip, you leave a job and your team and your co-workers, or people standing outside calling you all kind of names. That's what happened with old Goat James.
Goat.
Don't Goat James.
Phony goat.
Just stop saying that.
Okay. I have the same opinion of the decision now that I had the day after on ESPN on First Take on July, it would have been the 9th of 2010,
Right.
10 years ago almost, I had the same opinion. I actually loved it. It was great theater. I didn't mind it for my network, giving up its airtime, giving a whole hour to LeBron James. He was that big of a deal because he was such a huge free agent acquisition. We had been going on for 2 months on ESPN. All we ever talked about was speculating. Is it Miami? Is it staying in Cleveland? Is it Chicago? Is it an X Factor team that we're not seeing?
And he was the biggest free agent since Shaq. We hadn't seen anything like that, Skip.
And it had dragged on, to your point, for 2 long months. And I was ready for a big theatrical crescendo, so I had no problem with the choice to do the decision on live national TV, but I had a big problem with how LeBron executed it. And it was interesting. I watched the special last night on ESPN by Don Van Atta, who did a very good job on this. He pointed out that Commissioner Stern went to John Skipper, a friend of mine who was then running ESPN, and just campaigned, no. It's going to make LeBron look bad. Well, I couldn't figure out why it would make him look bad unless he made himself look bad on the special, or on the decision. But Don Van Atta reported that LeBron was urged before it to thank the fans of Cleveland, and that LeBron did not prepare for this. He did know. Usually LeBron is like a PR whiz, like he's all over it. He's thought of every nook and cranny of it. Could go here, so I got to go there. This, that. Be ready for it, and have a speech ready that you can do off the cuff, like he did on Kobe night that Friday night when we were at the Super Bowl. He was brilliant. But he'd obviously thought it through. He had a plan in his head, and then he just let his heart take over. Could have done the same thing here. So did he thank the fans of Cleveland? He did not. So after 7 years, he owed them, and I'll just, off the top of my head, I was blessed to be able to start my career and play 7 years in my home area in Akron/Cleveland. And I love the fans of Cleveland and that, whatever they call Northeast Ohio. I love them, and they will always hold a huge place in my heart. But I now have an opportunity to play alongside one of my best friends in the world, if not my best friend, in Dwayne Wade. And it's an opportunity I'm going to take because it's not going to come along again anytime soon. And obviously he would know Dwayne was a little ahead of him in years. So I need to maximize my chances to play with Dwayne. If LeBron had sold it that way, which I think was from his heart, then I think it would have been so much more palatable for the fans in Cleveland. Instead, he showed no gratitude for them having his back all those years. They had not won a championship. He was regarded as the best player in basketball, but they got to one finals and they got swept by the Spurs. So he needed to be much more gracious to the fans, just to Cleveland. And make it hard. Make it, if you want to cry, you could cry. Like this has torn me apart. But we got none of that. And I thought his rapport with Jim Gray was pathetic. It was like they didn't know each other, and LeBron was a little leery of Jim.
Well, Skip, they didn't know each other, Skip, but you got to understand.
But they chose him. Maverick Carter and company, that they all said, we want Jim Gray.
Skip, and I think
remember, ESPN wanted Stu Scott, or, there are other possibilities, but probably Stuart Scott.
But Skip, I think LeBron is that knowing that he's going to make, because he said the night before because they're leading up to that, Skip, he's like, this team, okay, that team, no, this team. And then he's like, it's going to be Miami. And then he's like, the night before, knowing, I don't think he thought he would get the vitriol and the blowback that he got from Cleveland. I don't think he thought that part through. Skip, so you leading up to it, you tease. And Skip, you forgot, because you remember in 1963 on the March on Washington, it was Mahalia Jackson. Martin, tell him about the dream. He didn't have that written in the speech. He had forgotten about Martin, tell him about the dream.
That's true.
So,
okay, all right.
Skip, you up there, Skip, you forget.
Forgot. Okay, so he forgot, but he was tense, and he's never tense. In any public setting, he's the opposite of tense. He is totally poised. He's very relaxed now
in every situation, absolutely,
Go look at the tape of it. His face is tight, and he's nervous, and he's not sure, and he'd obviously planned only one line I'm going to take my talents to South Beach.
Right.
And Commissioner Stern just ripped it to shreds. I'm going to take my talents to South Beach. It sounded so arrogant that it wasn't what David Stern stood for.
Right.
It didn't. That's not the image he wanted his superstars to project.
Correct.
He wanted them to show a little bit more humility. But as the special last night on ESPN pointed out, it was Kobe Bryant who originally used that same line when he left Lower Merion High School and had to announce at a press conference, am I going to Duke or am I going? And he said, I'm going to take my talents to
the NBA.
Long pause, the NBA.
Yep.
Okay, so it wasn't even an original line.
Right.
And LeBron, being the student of history that he is, and Kobe was his, remember, that was in the days of, it's LeBron, Kobe, LeBron. His arch rival, so to speak, was Kobe Bryant.
Right.
So he borrowed the phraseology Kobe had used coming out of high school and turned it into, I'm going to take my talents to South Beach.
Right.
And then the firestorm hit, and it showed all the negativity that made LeBron look bad. Well, it wouldn't have if he had handled it from the heart.
Right.
If he had made Cleveland fans feel a whole lot better about, I gave you 7 years, and who knows, maybe one day we'll reunite again.
Right.
If he could have presented it that way, but he didn't.
Yeah.
He was cold-blooded.
Skip, this was the biggest decision LeBron has ever had to make. Because all these other decisions, Skip, he got drafted to the Cavs. That wasn't a decision he had to make. You got to go. Okay, with Nike. Okay, you got Adidas and you got Nike. And that was off, hey, you just